This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Hello there. I don't know why I pulled a Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan to open up this, but I decided since Hunter Bussey was in the chat, I was motivated, and I'm motivated to deliver a fun Friday edition of The Meltdown. Whether you're watching us here on this Friday, whether you're hopscotching in your chair across from the Culver studio from me.
Morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Oh. This is why I wear headphones, because it's tough to focus with all the metal clanking.
I know,
I'm
this
kidding.
furniture sucks.
No, it's okay. Let's just restart it from the top, okay? Everybody ready?
Bro, this furniture's trash. I try to scoot up to my desk every day, and these little pathetic little wheels, those little baby wheels, won't even roll up the rug. It's like a 2-inch height.
Not even, like 2 centimeters.
Yeah, and so I've got to, like, hop forward to get into position for the show every day, and we're usually right up against the wire to get the show off, so you're usually doing your intro, and I'm getting ready.
Loud noises. There's a solution here. It's called buy a $600 chair, and you're good.
That is
You want to help me out there?
Insane purchase.
It's been one of the best purchases
But for
I've
you,
ever made.
it makes sense.
I won a poker tournament, and immediately with the poker winning said I want the Batman chair. So it was it's like you with the Chanel.
Duh, I was really going to compare it.
It's like you in the Dolce.
Yeah.
It's like you in the Prada.
Yeah.
It's like you in the
Hermes. Stella McCartney.
Prada. Did I say Prada already?
Prada already. That's okay. No, but that's a functional luxury purchase for you. I fully support it.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
I'm proud of you.
Good for you. You're doing Naked Gun type humor. We're going to be talking Naked Gun here in a second. We are in the Culver studio. Cheers to all who celebrate, as we are having a fun Friday edition of the show. If you can't tell, we are all at our wits' end. But you know what? We piled together for the goodness of entertainment and humanity. And that is what we are here. It's actually our motto. It's our mission statement.
We have a mission statement?
For the goodness of entertainment and humanity.
Changing the world through new technology.
Correct.
FTGOG. Wait, for the good of humanity and entertainment?
For the good of entertainment and humanity.
Entertainment comes first.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know either.
The Naked Gun funnier than the first 10 minutes of this show, and that is, I mean, it is a low bar to jump over, but let's talk a little bit. Let's get right into it. A lot of times I like to save our main topic for later in the show so everyone can have time to join in and be a part of the main conversation. But, you know, if you're watching this thing on demand, we're just going to jump right into it, our Naked Gun review. So here we are. It was one of our most anticipated movies of the summer. We were hoping that this thing brought the laughs needed to sort of recharge comedies in the theatrical space. My screening was absolutely packed. I don't know about yours.
So I ended up getting one of the screenings that got added because your screening was so packed. And at the time, I was the only one that had reserved a ticket. By the time I walked in, nearly full. Nearly full.
Like, this is good. It was a little bit of an older crowd. So it was actually, I had a great audience that was
Me too.
Really into the movie. There's another audience. I went to go see a double feature. I went to see Together, and then I went to go see Naked Gun. I'm going to talk about Together here in a few moments, but one thing that I will bring up is I had a really awful crowd for Together. It was pretty well attended for the most part. A lot of people thought the movie opened yesterday when really it's been in release since Tuesday in our area. You could have caught screenings all week long. You saw it on Wednesday. But on Thursday, you know, the Together crowd, there was one person who I guess thought we'd all paid to hear them perform because they talked the entire time about what was happening on screen.
No.
Bro, you can't be doing that. You know, that kind of stuff. Like the entire time, loudly.
I would have thrown my popcorn
like,
at them.
On purpose, like purposefully detracting.
Like they were making a reaction video.
Yeah.
Were they by themselves or were the...
I think they were with somebody. I don't know for sure because the way that the theater's sort of laid out, you can't really see the perpetrator, but like they were making it all about them. So I was a little fed up with that because I was just, it detracted from the movie for me. But Naked Gun crowd, on the other hand, I'm sitting right next to people because every seat in there is pretty much taken. I mean, there's a gap here and there, but like I have this couple next to me. Now, once again, I want to point out, I just get out of Together, which is about couples having too much contact with one another. And I'm sitting there in the Naked Gun and I'm triggered, pun intended, Naked Gun, triggered. Anyway, I'm triggered because there's a woman, she comes and sits next to me, okay, and she's nice. She has an ankle tattoo, I notice. I don't know why. I mean, it was like peeking right there in front of me over her sock. I don't know why I was even looking at it. It was kind of weird. I don't know. It was like I didn't want to look too deeply at it, but it looked like it was an alien or something.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, I didn't get a good look at her face. I couldn't pick her out of a lineup right now. Naked Gun reference. I'm going to keep doing that. But she was sitting right next to me, and then there was a seat empty next to her, and I'm like, I mean, she seems antsy. So then her boyfriend, I guess, maybe husband, but seemed more like a boyfriend situation, like almost like, two people who had gotten divorced and then they started dating. I don't know. That's the vibe I got. I don't know if you do that. You assign stories to people you don't know.
I mean, I'd put money on that guy not wifing up the girl with an alien ankle tattoo.
Well, probably so.
It's not a good idea.
He comes up the stairs and she's getting kind of like extra antsy that he's there. Maybe they're meeting up or I don't know, but he comes and sits down, reclines, and he doesn't move the entire time. She grabs his arm and starts to slather it like it's a thing of ribs on a Memorial Day cookout. And like, she's like painting it. Like she's got his arm and she's like rubbing him up and down on his arm. Now he's just like completely just there. He's not doing anything. I mean, she's just like weirdly
caressing his arm.
Yes. Now I'm right next to them, like literally right next to them. And I just am like, I just walked out of Together, which there's a lot of arm play in Together. And I'm freaked out by the thing. And she was just very clingy, I think is the word I would use.
Only tell that Seth MacFarlane's a producer.
Sprays the board.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of them are repeat jokes. Everything good, Tyler?
Yeah. I got a notification that said OBS reconnection successful.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yep, chat said spinning wheel. So
that happened on TNR today for a while.
Man, this dang internet. But it looks like we're back. So
okay, good. We always want to make sure, but keep me posted on that. But I also, want to make sure we get our review out there. And if we need to stop, we will stop and we will restart. So be looking for a part 2 if it is needed. Okay, let's get back into Naked Gun. A lot of jokes in this movie per minute. Jokes per minute, high. Laughs per minute, debatable. It just depends on your sense of humor. Why do you look shocked when I say that?
Oh, man.
You think this will be funny for everybody and everybody will laugh the entire time?
My theater was.
Okay.
The entire... how did your crowd enjoy it?
Overall, they enjoyed it, but I don't think there's any comedy that everybody loves. Like, I don't think there's any one that, like, is unanimous. I don't understand why we're arguing even.
Yeah.
Comedy, film, all of that is subjective.
I think this style of humor is the most generalized because it's slapstick and it's wordplay. It's nothing that I would think would be too tailored to an individual because I think that's the big issue with comedy nowadays is through social media algorithms we have.
This is my take, by the way, that you're giving. I've been given this take for years, but yeah.
Oh, well, well
I agree with it.
Worked together for like a year.
I agree with it because it's mine. But one of the main things is, comedies in the theater, the reason they're not out there is because a lot of people, they don't go to the theaters to laugh. This is going to try to get people back in that rhythm. It's not going to work for everybody. If you go on Google, the reviews are either 5-star or 1-star, and it's pretty much 60-40. Like it's going to be best thing ever or worst thing ever. It's going to be funniest thing or it's going to be cringiest thing. So the fact is, I don't know if this is going to work for you because I don't know you personally, unless your name's Hunter Bussey. I know you very personally, and I think you would enjoy it. I found myself in sequences laughing a lot, mainly internally. For some reason, I'm not triggered to externally laugh in theaters anymore because it's such an uncommon thing. One thing I found to be very interesting is in the previews, they're re-releasing some of the Judd Apatow movies that were very popular there in the mid-2000s, including 40-Year-Old Virgin and like Trainwreck. I can't imagine, Tyler, that you'll be going to see Trainwreck re-released in the theaters for any reason.
No.
But if you've never seen 40-Year-Old Virgin, it's one you need to circle back to because it's really, really, really funny. But does comedy still work in communal settings? Well, with packed houses, it helps, and there was definitely sporadic laughter throughout the course of the movie for me. But this movie's not going to work for everybody for sure. It is dumb. The movie's just like unapologetically stupid.
Yes.
On purpose.
I love the man, we can't get into like spoilers, but the plot device, we'll say.
Yes. There are fourth wall breakings all the time, which needs to happen in a Naked Gun movie. And
lots of just dumb visual gags and slapstick.
It makes me... I hope this movie is successful because I think we get an Austin Powers 4 if this movie's successful. Does that make sense? Like,
I know exactly which scene we're talking about.
There's a lot of Austin Powers stuff that works for me with this, that same style of humor, and that's when I feel like it's maybe at its best. There's one montage sequence with Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson that I thought was brilliant. I think it's maybe my favorite sequence in the entire year of film, and it happened in this movie, and I really sort of woke up during that part because this movie can lull you because it's got a certain pacing where it's just joke, and
it's like you've got the Liam Neeson doing his thing, and that's loaded with jokes, and then it cuts to bad guy plot, which is sort of the rest period, I felt like.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bounce back performances here. Like, is it Danny Houston
Danny Houston, yeah,
plays the main bad guy in this? Mm-hmm. And he was the main bad guy in The Crow, which was like I think our agreed upon worst film of the year last year.
Yeah, he's the bad guy in a lot of stuff.
Yes, he's typecast, but that's the whole reason why you have him in this movie, because he's typecast to be sort of that maniacal, laughing, evil villain.
Yes.
And I thought he did a fine job. And he's obviously, it seems like a ripoff of Elon Musk in this. And
well, that's why you've also got Kevin Durand in the cast, who he was in Abigail last year, and he looks suspiciously like Elon Musk.
He does. He does look just like him. If they ever make an Elon movie, I mean, if they don't cast that guy, I don't know what they're doing with their life. But he's really good in the movie. There's like a Mission Impossible sequence almost where it's like... we don't want to spoil the gags. A lot of them are featured in the trailers. So if you haven't seen the trailers and you like this style of humor, for some reason you've been able to avoid the constant barrage of, the song about the police constantly playing every single time that any marketing with this movie happens, I would recommend going in as blind as possible, because I can only imagine if you've gone in and you've been drugged to this movie without any sort of idea of how some of the gags are going to play out, you're going to enjoy it way, way, way more. So a lot of this stuff is from the trailers, a lot of the gags, and obviously the OJ joke has been one of the main pieces of marketing that's out there, and it's in there. It plays maybe a little bit different in the movie than it does in the trailer, but for the most part, it's the same. But Pamela Anderson, I feel like, is on a heater. One of my favorite movies last year was The Last Showgirl, and with Pamela Anderson, where she earned critical acclaim. And in this one, she's going the exact opposite route, playing sort of the completely dumb femme fatale, dumb blonde, and it works perfect in this movie. So
her at the jazz club, I think, was my favorite Pamela Anderson bit in this movie.
Gave me vibes of Dick Tracy, Madonna and Dick Tracy a little bit, and it's really funny. But the opening scene, they're trying to obviously mimic, based on what I was able to sort of ingest, The Dark Knight. I mean, it's got the same music, it's got the same sort of setup, it's got the same sort of thing, and I think that that's really a funny take of, if you're just going into this thing blind, you think they're going to completely play it serious, bank scene there. So overall, I feel like this is almost in a different category than the Leslie Nielsen movies. Like it just feels like those are of its time, and this is trying to so badly bring something back from the dead that nobody's really been asking for the most part. I mean, like there haven't been a lot of audiences that have been clamoring to get back to this because we went through a stretch of such bad parody movies, and like We're the Spartans and Epic Movie and
Meet the Spartans, Vampires Suck.
Yeah.
All those.
Yeah. So this one's trying to get the taste out of everybody's mouth of those movies in the 2000s that suck. And I think this one is good. I think it's good. I don't think it's great, but I think it's good. I think you're maybe a little bit higher on it. Talk a little bit more about your experience with it. And is there anything that really jumped off the screen for you as a big win?
I think what was a big win was my entire theater was laughing out loud the entire movie. There were bits where I had to catch my breath during the Danny Houston bad guy plot because my jaws were starting to hurt from laughing. But that being said, I also love the old slapstick, visual gags, all the wordplay. That's why I'm a big Looney Tunes fan. So this style of comedy just works for me, no matter what sort of story you're trying to tell around it. The plot is incredibly thin. It's just a vehicle to get to the next joke, but it's worth it for me because it's been a long time since I've laughed that hard in a theater. I loved Friendship this year, but I got more out loud laughs from Naked Gun.
That's awesome. I'm glad that it tickled the funny bone. There were so many Alabama fans that were at the theater.
Oh yeah, the Nothing But a Winner showings. Those are doing incredibly well here.
Yeah, no, and the concession stands are just, I mean, you would think it was Bryant-Denny Stadium, the way that you see a sea of crimson, them getting ready to go watch those movies. So, there's a lot of foot traffic at the theater, which I think is a good thing. I mean, the parking lot was absolutely jam-packed last night, and Naked Gun was packed. Together was really well attended, and I'm happy to see a lot of bodies there at the theater as two people that really enjoy going to the movies. Where this ranks for me on the year, I've got this right now at a 3.5 for the Naked Gun. 3.5, it would fall closer to a 3 than a 4 for me, but I enjoy the movie. It's good. I don't plan on rewatching it or seeing it again anytime soon, but there's one sequence that I'm looking forward to YouTubing, which is him and Pamela Anderson in this montage sequence, which I will not spoil, but I think it just goes places that are hilarious and really, really enjoyed that.
There's brief moments of that sequence shown in the trailer, and you have no idea what the context is in the trailer, but then in the movie, it plays so well.
100%. So, your score for Naked Gun would be?
I'm between a 3.5 and a 4. I'm more close to a 3.5. But I think this does its mission very well. Its job is to get people talking about a new comedy movie and get them to the theaters. And based on the fact that they had to add screenings last night, I'd say it's done its job.
Well, I am happy to hear that and am happy to report that it is the best movie that I saw yesterday. I also saw the movie Together, which is a tough watch for people who definitely don't like horror movies. I do like horror movies very much. I think this thing's a little overhyped. I mean, I'm just going to be completely honest.
You're not wrong.
I think the festival circuit did a lot to pump this movie up. A lot of people very excited about how well it's done on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think critics are really enjoying it. But I just don't feel like the payoff is there. I mean, you understand the premise if you've seen any of the trailers of two people becoming more emotionally and physically linked together. And how are they going to work through that when they already have communication problems in their relationship? And I just didn't enjoy any of the payoffs. I always thought it led up to a moment where it's like, okay, this is getting interesting. And then it hit the reset button. And then it'd lead up to a moment where it's like, okay, this is getting really interesting. And it hit the reset button. And then, just constant rebuilds throughout the course of the movie. And I didn't enjoy any of the payoffs, including the end.
The end sucked.
Okay. You hear from a lot of people it's the journey, not the destination. And I didn't really enjoy either. The journey was exhausting. It's very slow paced, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Character development is important. But the gimmick itself, I didn't feel like was that intriguing because I've been watching the trailers for these for, months, and I already knew what that was. So when it happens on screen, it takes a little bit of the magic away. If I was one of those people who saw this movie not knowing anything about it at one of these festivals, maybe it would have been a little bit more magical. I'm in a crowd full of people that are eating it up. I don't know the hooks because I haven't seen the marketing campaign. I wouldn't have known about the lawsuit alleging that this thing was a complete ripoff. I do think sort of my predisposition going into the movie affected the enjoyment of the movie, but I really didn't like the narrative payoffs. I didn't enjoy the movie.
Yeah,
so like a 2 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, this one took a while to get going for me. I wasn't a fan of like the opening third of the movie, I'd say. I like the middle third a lot, but I didn't like the end. So I don't know where I'm at because visually I think it's really strong. I think it's a cool twist on body horror, almost taking like a romantic angle to it. But yeah, I'm probably about a 3.
Yeah, maybe I'm at a 2.5 on it. I'll have to go back and look at my letterbox and see how everything sort of is ranked up there. I'm really looking forward to Weapons. I think Weapons is my opportunity to get to my horror movie of the year. Right now, Sinners is 5 out of 5 for me. I'm hoping Weapons joins that conversation and becomes the only other 5 out of 5 movie for me. But we'll see if it delivers 1 week from now. But this was a nice way to get back in the swing of things. It feels like there's a horror movie that comes out each and every week. But this one is one that I think is very skippable. You can watch it at home, let the marketing die down, forget about it a little bit, and you'll probably enjoy it more as a streaming event than you will as a theatrical event, in my opinion. I want to go to this, speaking of horror, some news breaking today. John Krasinski returning as director, writer, and producer of A Quiet Place Part 3. I think that's awesome because Quiet Place Part 1 and Part 2 I think are really fantastic. And his roles within those movies, I feel like, are vital and important. His vision for those movies. I didn't love Quiet Place Day One that came out a year ago.
Yeah, so what I was about to ask was, did he have any involvement with Day One, or was he just a producer?
I think he was just a producer on it.
Okay.
I don't think he had any other involvement, but...
Yeah, the first two are much better.
They are. And I'm looking forward to Part 3, continuing the story instead of Day One, which is a prequel that... undoubtedly, it made some money, but I didn't think narratively it added hardly anything to the lore. And I'm really excited that John Krasinski is returning for Quiet Place 3. It's coming out July 2027, so we're about 2 years away from this one, but I think it's going to be fantastic with him returning back there behind the camera. I'm also looking forward to returning to my dentist. That's over at Alabama Dental Associates. That's Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, and Dr. Nolan over at Alabama Dental, providing you all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health. If you are searching for a dentist, look no further than Alabama Dental Associates. They're going to take care of you there and make sure that you are healthy there between the gums. Make sure you give them a call. Become a patient today. I'm a patient there. Jim Dunaway's a patient there, and we really enjoy our time spent at Alabama Dental on Grants Mill Road. That's 205-956-8977, or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. We look forward to seeing Dr. Brian back at the poker table here very, very soon. Want to talk about this, e.g., The Holiday. Is that a movie you enjoy? Okay. Yeah. I didn't think you'd be big on Naked Gun. Didn't think you'd be big on Together, but I think you will be big on the fact that they're doing a limited series based on The Holiday. It's going to be a adaptation of the movie. So I think what it is going to be a fresh start, trying to mine the IP to get people excited again about The Holiday. I think The Holiday is like, even for guys, it's a pretty digestible movie.
Yeah, it's an easy Christmas movie to throw on. I think it doesn't really get old, but I only want to watch it during Christmas.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah. Because it's got holiday in the title.
Holiday.
There
and
you
it's cozy, cold, Christmassy.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty good. I got to ask you about this.
Okay.
American Eagle, right? There's a big campaign going on right now with Sydney Sweeney. Mm-hmm. It's created a lot of controversy on the internet. Mm-hmm. Can you comment on this at all? Because
sit up for this one.
Okay, please. Sydney Sweeney obviously has become a booming actress in the entertainment space. We've seen pretty much, every one of her movies. She is someone who's in demand. She is returning, I believe, for another season of Euphoria. She's constantly in the tabloids. Her personal life is constantly under the microscope. Who she's with, who she's not with, whatever. They throw her in a ad for denim jeans. And I didn't think much of it other than Sydney Sweeney is doing denim jean ads. That makes sense to me as a red-blooded American male, right?
Yeah, and then the tagline was like, Sydney has great genes, and that has spun out into a whole bunch of just...
Why? I'm trying to figure this out, and I was hoping maybe you could give us a little bit of a take from your end on this thing.
I think it's a really normal campaign. I saw it. I did not think anything of it. I was like, oh, Sydney Sweeney. She's kind of in everything right now. I thought the jeans were cute. I did notice they were running a sale, so it did drive me to the website before the controversy. So I will say it was effective on me because I haven't thought of American Eagle since probably middle school or high school, because that's where I had to get my uniform pants from back in the day. And so I associate it with, school. And I feel like their latest campaigns haven't really appealed to me. But I saw this and I was like, oh, let me check it out. So it worked for me, but it is not working for a lot of people. And I don't really, it's an ad. She looks pretty.
Do you think it will be effective in selling a lot of jeans?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, I've seen a lot of posts about this, even from like a business standpoint, about how this is, hurting their target customer. But what they're failing to also take into account, the customers that will either return to the brand or don't know the brand, but they're discovering the brand because of that ad. Because American Eagle has not been popular since 2015, I would say.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 2014. 2015, yeah.
So there's a whole group of teenagers that could care less about American Eagle when that was the place to shop for so many years.
It was.
Now you get Sydney Sweeney and it's like, oh my gosh, what is American Eagle? And here we are.
I feel like when I went to high school, everybody was wearing American Eagle, something. Hollister, Abercrombie, was there another one? Aeropostale. What else was there? Forever 21 for the ladies.
Yeah.
But, just mall shopping in general has become less and less relevant. I don't know. It seems like y'all's generation's actually brought malls back to a degree.
Weird way.
Like,
our generation has like a nostalgia for
That's
for
what I was
malls.
about to say. There's almost a nostalgic issue with our generation. I don't want to say issue, but like it's interesting.
It's an issue too.
Yeah, the things that people want to bring back. Outdoor malls definitely are more like trendy, but I've seen the rebirth of like actual malls, and it's kind of odd.
Yeah, like for some reason having your items in that bag at the store, it like does something. Like it's because it's physically tangible. It's something, and like the hunt, you can make a day out of it, and like take the photos, and have the hauls and the brands put all over social media.
And then you go get some pretzels. From Auntie Anne's.
Yeah.
There you go. I prefer the cookies.
Oh,
Great American Cookie. Frenemy Summer. Anyway, no, this just baffles me a little bit.
It does. It honestly feels like someone like planned this in the sense of like someone needed, we needed a little outrage, so we're gonna just put it all on this.
It's dumb.
It's very dumb. It's like A plus B does not equal C.
Is this going to negatively affect Sydney Sweeney at all?
No.
Golly, no.
I don't think so either.
People that already didn't, no one likes her less for this. The people that already liked her are going to keep liking her. The people that didn't like her are going to keep disliking her.
Yeah.
So,
There's this ad, the ad is running where she's like working on her Ford Mustang, and then like she closes the hood, shows off the jeans, gets in the car, spins out into a cloud of smoke that then shows the logo and everything. Whoever came up with the idea of this is what we need in order to sell jeans, that person's going to get a hefty raise.
Yeah, because again, before I even like knew the controversy, I could open my laptop up and y'all would see the tab open from a couple days ago and be like, oh my gosh, American Eagle. Yeah. Let me see what they've got going. And I don't know. They reeled me back in.
Yeah. So. All right. Good to know.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Star Wars A New Hope getting a 50th anniversary theatrical re-release in 2027. So looking forward to seeing that one there on the big screen. Yet again, last time I saw A New Hope on the big screen, it was the late 90s with the re-releases. There, I believe it was like 1997 where I saw that one. And I'm excited to get back to the theater to see that again. I know that they're re-releasing Batman 89 and Batman Returns in Dolby Atmos around the country. We don't have any of those theaters here in our area, but if there's a way I can get to one for those re-releases, they're doing it like a one-night only thing. I'm excited about that. We've seen Tom Holland's new costume, a little bit of a tease of it, just showing some of the design there for his brand new day attire. It's like a shoulder blade and a little bit of the chest. I'm hopeful and optimistic that Brand New Day is going to reel things in and make Spider-Man once again a reset to where he gets to sort of street level Spider-Man yet again. So I'm excited about that. Are you excited for Brand New Day?
Man, it's really tough for me to get excited for more Marvel stuff right now because I just keep seeing how many issues they're running into. We're working on Doomsday, but we still need to write the third act. We don't know how Doomsday is going to end. We don't know how Brand New Day is going to end, and we need the endings to write the other one. It's a mess over at Marvel. I don't know why they choose to get halfway through shooting a movie before finishing the script. I read another article the other day. Kevin Feige said that the director of Fantastic Four had no idea what the Thunderbolts post-credits scene would be, and that would include the Fantastic Four. So there's a way that they're going to have to shoehorn that into Doomsday.
Yeah.
And it's just getting messy. I am waiting for Secret Wars to just wipe the whole slate clean, and I'm looking more forward to the new X-Men movies.
I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful that occurs. Superhero fatigue is a real thing, and hopefully they're able to re-energize the fan base and show us something new. I don't know if there's anything new left to show us. That's one of the biggest issues, though. But I'm very excited for Batman Part 2 and hoping that ends up delivering as we get hopefully more and more details officially about what that's going to be. We've got a new James Bond writer in Stephen Knight. He's the one behind Peaky Blinders, which is a series that I have not watched, but it's got obviously a lot of fans of it, and I've always had it in my queue, and have never really quite started it. But Stephen Knight says the franchise's next chapter will be better and stronger and bolder, saying it's always been on my bucket list, and it's fantastic to be invited to do it. I can't wait to get started. Denis Villeneuve is directing this movie, and Amazon is putting so many resources behind this movie. I'm going to be very interested to see what the production budget is, and I'm very interested to see who they cast as the next James Bond, because that is going to divide the internet yet again. Get ready for more internet outrage. If you thought Sydney Sweeney wearing jeans was something that was frustrating the internet, just wait until they cast the new James Bond, whoever it is, and it is going to be very intense because there is no unanimous pick there. So,
yep.
Actually, the more they're hated, typically the more they end up being loved. By the end of it.
That is what we've seen with casting decisions off the top of my head. Robert Pattinson in The Batman.
Yep.
Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight.
Yep.
Who else we got?
We got Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Oh, I wasn't around for that.
He's too small to play the role. And then now it's like, that's my Logan. That's my guy. Michael Keaton is Batman.
Oh, okay.
Ben Affleck is Batman. Like, all the Snyder Bros were complaining that he was going to be awful. I can't believe you cast Ben Affleck. And then all of a sudden it's like, he's the most comic accurate Batman ever. I love him. So, I mean, like, I'm telling you, it's the most apologetic sort of thing once they get killed. Daniel Craig is James Bond. Like, guy got murdered with
Blonde Bond.
I mean, what are they doing? This guy's not it. First movie out of the gate. We were wrong. So We'll see what happens with the next Bond there. But anyway, lots of different things going on this weekend. Obviously, we will be absorbing all the entertainment headline news. I'm very curious to see what the top 5 looks like in our box office report on Monday.
It will be very interesting.
If I had to guess, Fantastic Four is going to repeat as number 1. I don't think Together or Naked Gun ends up taking that number 2 spot. I may be wrong, but I think Superman may hold at number 2 with maybe we start to get into Naked Gun at the number 3 spot, which I think would actually be a big win. But it's going to be tough to sort of figure out exactly where all these pieces are going to land going into Monday.
You've also got The Bad Guys 2 from DreamWorks.
I forgot about that.
Normally, I would say never bet against a family movie, but that's a different market these days. Family movies aren't instant successes. Now, good ones end up having huge successes, whether it's Lilo and Stitch or last year's The Wild Robot. But mediocre ones tend to fizzle out pretty quickly, like the Smurfs.
Yeah, you got to create a demand.
Yes.
In order for audiences to show up and not feel like they can just catch it on streaming. I think Zootopia 2 is going to crush when it comes out in November, regardless of whether it's good or not. I mean, I think you just look at Moana 2 and what it did last year, and Zootopia 2 is going to do gangbusters there in November of this year. So the new trailer just dropped for Zootopia. I didn't love it, but, I mean, there's no doubt it's going to be full of kids that need to go see someone at American Family Care probably, and they're all going to be sneezing and coughing in there because it'll be, getting a little bit cooler, and kids are snot-nosed and always sick when they go back to school.
Yep.
That's how we're going to end today's show. We want to remind you about MyBookie at mybookie.ag. You can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. That's mybookie.ag. Use promo code next round for that first-time deposit bonus there at mybookie.ag. We've got one little extra thing for you, and that is a final chat check-in here with Tyler Lionel Johns.
Yep, just wanted to get to the chat since we haven't gotten to throughout the show. Let's see here. Daniel says, I don't agree with this, but the reason a few aren't okay with the whole Sydney Sweeney thing is because of the whole jeans tagline, and as if to imply that blonde hair, blue eyes is the whole thing, and are better jeans. But I think you got to be wild to think that American Eagle, a big multinational corporation like that, is going to sneak a reference to eugenics in a wide marketing campaign. So I think the outrage is dumb. It seems fake to me. Let's see.
Well, it's selling a lot of merchandise.
It's moving product for sure. Let's see. Hunter says in the MCU reboot, they need to use the retro futuristic setting like a comic book come to lifestyle. It works in Fantastic Four, and I think it can work in an MCU reboot. What do you think? I think no.
The retro futuristic sort of.
Yeah. Would you like to see it throughout the new MCU to make it more comic booky?
Part of this feels like a little bit of a setup because I'm not someone who loved Fantastic Four.
It's not a setup. It's asking how would you like to see that set up and like the Quinjet and all that sort of stuff, but in a new Iron Man.
Yeah, no,
X-Men.
I understand the basis of the question. I just feel like maybe I'm not the one that is going to give the crowd pleasing answer here, because I thought Fantastic Four First Steps was played it a little bit too safe, a little bit too generic, a little bit too vanilla, plain. There was nothing that really stood out to me from the visual style or from the actual movie that is something I would say let's latch on to that and use it as a winner moving forward. So, it didn't quite work for me. I think someone who does give it a 5 out of 5, a 10 out of 10, they want more. They want more of that, and they won't sort of copy and paste the formula because they also probably want to see Marvel operating at a point where they're just becoming these crowd-pleasing films again. And I haven't seen anything that tells me this is part of the Marvel formula moving forward, that you cannot break the rule of this. You've got to have X, Y, or Z sort of strategy. And I haven't seen anything from Fantastic Four or Thunderbolts or Brave New World this year that makes me go, we've got to have more of that. So that's where I'm at on that.
That's fair. I guess a little follow-up to that. LAC in the chat wants to know how you reconcile Fantastic Four at number 1 this weekend at the box office and your score of 2.5 stars.
Well,
I don't mean to sound like I'm putting you up against the ropes. But it's what the chat's saying today.
I totally gotcha. Fantastic Four is the movie that plays to the majority of people that will be going to the theater. It is trying to present itself as a 4-quadrant film. And while I, once again, don't think the movie is trash by any means, it just didn't work for me personally. But it is the movie that is the safest bet to be at number 1 with commercial dollars, because you're not going to bring your kids to go see Naked Gun. You're not going to bring your kids to see Together. You're not going to be bringing, you're not going to have a lot of people who are going to those movies going to watch the Bad Guys too. Mm-hmm. So the safest bet is at number 1, especially based on how much money it's already made there in the top spot, that it will repeat here for a second week at the number 1 spot. So it's just basic business. It has nothing to do with how I felt the film came across. I think a lot of people are thoroughly enjoying Fantastic Four, and they're happy to say that Marvel is back. I'm just going, hold your horses a little bit. Let's see what the overall big picture plan is. But it's the safe number 1 bet coming into week number 2 for its run.
All right. And then Hunter Bussey has cast Harris Dickinson as Bond.
I would love that.
Says take it to the bank.
I would love it. That's the first time me and Hunter Bussey have agreed on a James Bond casting, so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it's funny because recently I told him no Bond fan casts in the chat because he wanted to make you laugh more on the show, and I said, well, don't cast any Bond choices.
Oh, well, that's very smart, but I think that me and him are finally aligned on, out of the names that have been rumored, that's the one that I'd probably be most with because he's a blank slate.
Yes.
So they can do a lot there.
LAC on the other side says Tom Holland is Bond.
I'm not going to touch that one. Me and LAC, we had a good little conversation there a few minutes ago, and I'm not going to go back into that. But LAC, I appreciate you being here, man, and I hope that doesn't stand for LA Clippers because, it's got to be really frustrating to be a fan of that. Or the LA Chargers. Got to be really frustrating to be a fan there of that. So I'm hoping LAC stands for something else. So, is that it?
That's all, other
Excellent.
than Nick saying he'll probably be seeing Superman and Fantastic Four this weekend for his son's birthday weekend.
Awesome. Well, enjoy, have fun. They are pretty similar experiences for the most part, but I think that what they do more than anything is they make their fan bases happy. And there's a lot of DC fans that are happy, feeling like DC's back based on the success of this film, and there's a lot of Marvel fans who feel like, okay, we finally have something that's fresh and new and sort of hits a home run with getting things propelled towards peak Marvel yet again. So I think it's right now there's a large amount of variety at the box office, and that's always a good thing because that increases foot traffic when you have so many different types of avenues you can go down. So I'm happy right now with the array of options that there are at the theater.
Yeah, think about it. Last night you could have gone to see a Marvel superhero movie, a DC superhero movie, a horror movie, a comedy, a documentary about Bear Bryant. Like, that's a lot of options right there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, you're running the whole gamut of genres there.
It was a stretch of all different types of people. And one thing that I found to be very interesting is, I pulled off this double feature yesterday, and there was a guy doing the same double feature as me. And so he was in the same spot, same seat, wearing a tie-dye shirt. And I'm like, my man, good for you, going and knocking out both of these in the same day. And that's one of the luxuries of A-List, too. If they ever decide to ban, like, you have to use A-List on separate days and stuff, like you have to come separate days to do that, it will be the only thing that makes me consider canceling A-List, is like...
I don't think they would do that, though.
Yeah.
Because they know people would be more active on the weekends, in general.
I assume someone at some point within their ranks will give them the idea of, what if, instead of letting people come one time and get the refillables, we make them come multiple times a week and they have to buy something new every single time they come to the concession stand. I think that would effectively kill A-List because a lot of the value proposition of that would be gone because there's a lot of people like me who only go to the theater once a week or only go to the theater and want to knock out as much as they can. They've carved out some time. So I just hope they don't screw up a good thing. But
yeah. Plus, they want you to run out of slots, so that way you go, you know what, I might pop up on Tuesday or Wednesday for those discount tickets.
Yeah.
Come out of pocket.
That's also true. Or one of those Monday night, screen unseens.
That's
hey,
true.
I'll take the gamble and sort of pull the trigger on that. All right, that's going to do it for our Fun Friday edition of the Meltdown. Our review of The Naked Gun there, our review of Together, and a lot of entertainment headline news, including what to expect here on the Monday edition of the Meltdown as we await to see how the box office landscape shapes up. I'm very interested to see how The Naked Gun does this weekend. Very interested. Early enthusiasm through the roof. Will word of mouth carry it? We'll see how those Friday into Saturday and Saturday into Sunday numbers go, and we'll have the full report there on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you back here in Meldonia very, very soon. For EG, for Tyler, I'm Tim, signing off from the Meltdown.